Hi everyone, so today I want to talk about ultra processed foods, and the reason why I'm getting excited is because I'm quite passionate about it, as you can tell. So I first became aware of ultra processed foods nearly 20 years ago when my son was a baby, and it started off because when I went to get him some nappies, there was a packet that said that it doesn't contain chlorine. I'm like, why are you putting chlorine in my baby's nappies? Like, why would I want his really sensitive skin to be with saturated chlorine? Anyway, so I was just like, well, I don't need this stuff in my life. Which then went on to foods. When I was weaning him, became aware of things like MSGs, emulsifiers, additives, etc., etc. And yeah, it's really interesting once you start looking into it about what's been added to our foods, and it's quite scary because it's happened quite quickly, really, in terms of how long we've been around for. Something that somebody said to me once was, well, it's only citric acid, like it's just vitamin C, and it's like, well, actually, if it's man-made, then it's not vitamin C, and I don't really want that in my body. So you once you get onto the ultra processed food journey, it can become very overwhelming because there is just so much information out there these days. And although that's great and it's fantastic, like I say, it's just too much, and a lot of people don't know where to start. So one of the things that I would suggest is that you don't try and do everything at once, because that is just way too much. And I definitely would not be throwing food in the bin unless you really decided that you didn't want to eat it, because again, I just don't like wasting food. So I would probably start with things like emulsifiers or MSGs. Again, don't try to do everything at once. We don't like MSGs because they are a flavour enhancer, also known as monosodium glutamate, which means that actually it can make you eat more. Sometimes people can have adverse reactions and have things like migraines. So they're in things like Monster Munch, in Pringles, and like even in things like olives. Like, who would even, you don't need flavour enhancers in olives, right? So just bear in mind that once you start on your journey, it can become overwhelming. Don't try and do everything at once. And you also need to keep checking labels quite frequently, as there are some recipe updates, as yeah, we can't control and need to keep up with. So that is my advice for today.